Milk, my favorite.
Oh, Milk.
Actually, I read this book the other day. It's called The History of Love.
Oh, I love love. Wow,
Yeah,
that's great.
and the first line is when they write my obituary. The second line is she lifted her clasped hands to my face and parted her two thumbs a half inch. And the last line is she tapped me twice. I rate this 10 out of 10. Beautiful chart, right?
Beautiful.
Graph, whatever.
Great.
Yep. And my protagonist's favorite meal is Chinese takeout because he doesn't need to go out and he can just have it delivered and he can be in his own world at all times. And I read this outside because I'm reading about people and I wanted to be surrounded by people. Let my puppet explain. At times I believed that the last page of my book and the last page of my life were one and the same, and that when my book ended, I'd end. A great wind would sweep through my rooms, carrying the pages away, and when the air cleared of all those fluttering white sheets, the room would be silent. The chair where I sat would be empty. In the movie version of this, James Garner would play Leopold Grumsky, the protagonist.
I like
Alma
him.
Singer would be played by Viva Whitman, and Zvi
like her.
Litvinov would be played by Robert De Niro. And the final song would be Stranger by Katie Costello, and I would leave the title the same, The History of Love.
I'm going to have some milk, too.
Your favorite?
I read this lovely book called The Bell Jar. The first line is, it was a queer, sultry summer, the summer they electrocuted the Rosenbergs, and I didn't know what I was doing in New York. And then it skips to the middle line where it was, I decided I would put off the novel until I had gone to Europe and had a lover, and that I would never learn a word of shorthand. And then the last line of the book is, the eyes and faces all turned themselves toward me, and guiding myself by them as by a magical thread, I stepped into the room. And now I'm going to have my puppet explain something to you. I knew I should be grateful to Mrs. Guinea, only I couldn't feel a thing. If Mrs. Guinea had given me a ticket to Europe or a round-the-world cruise, it wouldn't have made a scrap of difference to me, because wherever I sat, on the deck of a ship or in a street cafe in Paris or Bangkok, I would be sitting under the same glass bell jar, stewing in my own sour air. My protagonist couldn't really eat throughout the majority of the novel, so it's impossible to say what her favorite meal was because she went through so much. And on a scale of 1 to 10, on the pizza scale, I'd give about a 9 out of 10. It had some flaws, but it was still pretty good. In my movie version of this, I'd have you as Esther, because you're the best. I'd have Mila Kunis as Joan, and Buddy Willard would be played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt, because I love him. And the last song would be Such Great Heights by Iron and Wine, and I would keep the movie would have the same title as the book.
Where did you read it?
I read it in my backyard some of the time, and then sometimes I read it on the couch, because my couch is so comfy. And, yeah,